Your intuition is not some mystical sixth sense, a flash of supernatural insight. It is something far more primal and intricate, a highly advanced, subconscious pattern recognition machine. While your rational mind is busy processing words and facts, your intuition is reading the silent language, the subtle shifts in tone, the hesitation that lasts a fraction of a second, the recurring behavioral patterns that reveal a hidden, internal script. These scripts, the very source code of human drama, are written and performed by 7 ancient actors that live deep within us all. The great pioneer of the unconscious, Carl Jung, gave us the master key with this profound observation. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Think about the weight of those words. The very forces that shape our decisions, our relationships, and our destinies are often invisible to us. Our journey today is about turning on the lights and taking the director's chair back from these unseen forces. And you have felt their presence your entire life, haven't you? It's that jarring disconnect when someone's praise feels hollow, when a smile doesn't quite reach their eyes, or when you get a gut feeling that their yes was really a no. We exist in a world of masks, intricate personas we build for survival and acceptance. We become so skilled at performing that we forget we are even on a stage, leaving us feeling profoundly confused and isolated, unable to see the true face of others, or even our own. But today, we will use Jung's master key to see behind the curtain, his revolutionary theory of the archetypes. These are not mere personality traits. They are the universal blueprints of the human soul. 7 foundational patterns of motivation, fear, and desire etched into our collective psyche over millennia. They are the actors secretly writing the script for you and everyone you will ever meet. So, I must be clear, this is not a superficial list to categorize your friends. This is an archaeological dig into the human spirit. It is a journey of deconstruction, moving layer by layer from the polished outer armor, down through the hidden fears, until we reach the core wound that started it all. I urge you to stay with me until the very end, because the final archetype we uncover will not be for understanding others. It will be the mirror that reflects your own self back to you with breathtaking and undeniable clarity. So let us begin our excavation. We start where all observation begins, on the surface. Before we can understand the hidden world within, we must first learn to see the visible world for what it truly is, a stage. And on this stage, everyone wears a costume, a carefully constructed suit of armor we call a personality. These are the masks the archetypes present to the world, the conscious strategies they employ for survival, acceptance, and validation. This is the what, the behavior you see every single day. Look closely. Do you recognize these actors around? First, let us examine the most celebrated of masks, that of the hero. Look for the one who carries the weight of the world on their shoulders, the pillar of strength in any crisis, the colleague who always says, "I'll handle it." In them, you are witnessing the performance of the hero. This mask is forged from the ore of societal admiration. Its purpose is to project unwavering competence and control. The psychological currency here is achievement. Their identity becomes dangerously fused with their results. To be the hero is to be valuable, to be necessary. The alternative, to be seen as weak, ordinary, or incapable, is a fate they consider worse than death. The colleague who stays late isn't just working for a promotion. They are desperately reinforcing their role as the reliable one. Their actions are not merely about productivity. They are a constant, but here is the crucial insight. This armor of competence is incredibly brittle. The stronger the outward projection of strength, the more terrifying the inner vulnerability it conceals. It is a performance, and the actor lives in constant dread of the day they forget their lines. Next, observe the quiet power of the caregiver. This is the person whose identity is built on a foundation of selfless giving. They are the friend who cancels their plans to listen to your problems, the parent who continues to sacrifice for their adult children, the one whose first instinct is always to ask, "What do you need?" Their mask is woven from the threads of empathy and sacrifice, and it is perhaps the most socially rewarded armor of all. But we must look deeper. The caregiver's operating system runs on a simple, powerful code. I give, therefore I am. Their self-worth is not generated internally. It is measured by the dependence of others. Their constant acts of service are a powerful defense against a devastating fear, the fear of being seen as selfish, and by extension, the fear of being abandoned. Their love and kindness are genuine, but they are also a strategy. By making themselves indispensable, they believe. The subtle insight here is that their endless giving is not always a pure gift. It is sometimes a hidden transaction, a way to create a debt of belonging that ensures they will never truly be alone. Finally, consider the master of deflection, the Jester. This is the person who wields humor like both a sword and a shield. They are the life of the party, the one who can break any tension with a perfectly timed joke. In any serious or emotionally charged situation, they are the first to deploy levity. Their mask is one of perpetual lightheartedness, but this mask is perhaps the most deceptive. The Jester's strategy is to control the narrative by never allowing it to become too real. If everything is a joke, then nothing can truly wound them. If they can make you laugh, they can keep you at a safe distance from the vulnerable truth within. Think of the friend who, when you ask how they are really doing after a difficult event, immediately fires back a witty, self-deprecating remark. The group laughs. The uncomfortable moment of genuine intimacy passes, and The jester remains safely hidden behind the punchline. The profound irony is the insight we must grasp. The person who dedicates their life to making others feel joy is often the one most terrified of confronting their own sorrow. These suits of armor, competence, selflessness, humor, are heavy. They are exhausting to maintain day after day. So the question we must now ask is not just why they wear them, but what terrifying void are they protecting? What abyss lies beneath the polished steel that they dare not face? To answer that, we must go deeper. We have now seen the polished armor, the carefully crafted masks. But a mask is not worn for decoration. Armor is not forged for sport. It is a response to a threat. To truly understand the person, we must now peel back the steel plate and look at the trembling vulnerability it was designed to protect. We have moved from what they do to the far more important question of why. Welcome to the engine room of the psyche, the place where all defenses are born. The answer, in its purest form, is always the same: fear. This is not the fleeting fear of a loud noise or a scary movie. This is a deep, existential dread that becomes the central organizing principle of a life. Let's revisit the actors we've met. The mask of the hero is a direct defense against the paralyzing terror of incompetence, the specter of being ordinary. Their relentless drive is fueled by the fear that if they stop achieving, their value as a human being will simply evaporate. The mask of the caregiver is a shield against the chilling fear of being rendered obsolete, the terror of being seen as selfish and ultimately unworthy of love. The constant performance of the jester is a desperate attempt to outrun the paralyzing fear of silence, because in the silence, the pain they are fleeing might finally catch up. Their endless stream of humor is a wall of sound against the void. Now, let us introduce two new. First, meet the ruler. This is the person who needs to be in control of the project, of the conversation, of the relationship. They are the architects of order in a world they perceive as fundamentally chaotic. Their mask is one of authority and structure, but do not mistake this for a simple desire for power. The ruler's motivation is a profound terror of chaos. For them, uncertainty is an enemy, and spontaneity is a threat. Control is their only antidote to the gnawing anxiety that the world and their life could spin into disarray at any moment. The micromanaging boss isn't just a perfectionist. They are desperately trying to nail down every variable, because the unknown is to them a hostile force. The insight here is a powerful paradox. Their relentless pursuit of external control is a direct reflection of their profound lack of internal peace. The iron grip reveals a fragile soul. In direct contrast, we find the innocent. This is the person who seems to live in a bubble of optimism and simplicity. They avoid conflict, resist bad news, and insist on seeing the good in everyone, even against all evidence. Their mask is one of willful positivity and determined naivete. But this is not true childlike innocence. It is an active and exhausting defense mechanism. The core motivation of the innocent is a deep-seated fear of a fallen world. They are terrified of being blamed, punished, or tainted by the harshness of reality. So they become the curators of a carefully edited life. Think of the friend who refuses to see the toxic traits in their partner, actively reframing manipulation as love and dismissing the concerns of others. They aren't stupid, they are terrified. To acknowledge the truth would be to let the chaos they fear. And so, the crucial insight is this: their chosen innocence is not a virtue, but a gilded cage. In their effort to avoid the world's darkness, they sacrifice the ability to learn, to grow, and to engage with the complex, messy, and ultimately more meaningful truth of reality. We see now that these are not minor anxieties. They are life-defining fears. The fear of incompetence, of chaos, of reality itself. A fear this powerful, this primal, does not simply appear out of nowhere. It is not a personality quirk. It is a psychological echo, a ghost from another time. This leads us to the final and most important question of our journey. What original event was so powerful that its echo still shapes their entire reality today? To find that answer, we must descend to the very source. We have descended through the layers. We have seen the mask, and we have named the fear. But every fear is a ghost. It is the echo of a past event, a haunting from a moment in time that is long gone, but never left. We have now arrived at the source, the psychological epicenter of the earthquake. We are here to uncover the core wound, the original experience that forged the fear, which in turn necessitated the mask. This is the where from. This is the origin story. Every life-defining fear is rooted in a childhood lesson, a moment when we created a rule for survival. Consider the hero, driven by the fear of incompetence. This fear did not appear from nothing. It was learned in a childhood where love was conditional. The child discovered affection was a reward for performance, and its absence was the punishment for failure. The relentless adult you see today is not an overachiever. They are a small child, still running on that outdated software, forever trying to earn the love that was never given freely. Think of the ruler, terrified of chaos. Their wound is often an early life steeped in unpredictability and powerlessness, an environment where they felt unsafe because the rules kept changing. A silent vow was made by a frightened child in that storm. Never again will I be helpless. I will build walls of order so high that the chaos can never touch me again. Their need for control is not a desire to dominate you. It is a desperate attempt to protect that child from the storm they believe is always just over the horizon. Now, let us introduce the final art. First, meet the orphan, also known as the everyman. Their mask is one of fitting in, of being relatable and down to earth. Their fear is of standing out or being abandoned. This is because their core wound is not belonging. This is the child who felt like an outsider, the one on the edge of the playground, who learned that to be different is to be alone. Their entire social strategy is built on this primal lesson. To have no strong opinions is to be safe. To agree is to be accepted. Their conformity is not a lack of personality. It is a primal survival strategy to avoid the terror of being cast out. And finally, we meet the magician. Their mask is one of vision, knowledge, and understanding complex systems. Their fear is of unintended negative consequences. This is because their core wound is a profound experience of powerlessness in the face of a mysterious or traumatic event they could not comprehend. It was the moment they realized the world had hidden rules and invisible forces that could bring disaster without warning. This wound created a lifelong quest to understand the secret laws of the universe. Their insatiable drive for knowledge, whether through science, psychology, or spirituality, is a quest to regain the agency they lost. They believe that if they can just understand the system completely, they can influence it and never again be a victim of a reality they don't understand. So now, the picture is complete. The annoying behavior, the defensive reaction, the frustrating personality trait. You can now see it for what it is. It is not a moral failing. It is a scar. It is the brilliant, outdated survival strategy of a child who did the best they could with what they knew. The critical person, the controlling boss, the needy friend, they are all survivors, wearing the armor that once saved them. Long after the battle is over, judgment dissolves, and in its place, something far more powerful can emerge. Compassion. We have journeyed from the mask to the fear to the wound. We have done all this work to understand them. But this entire journey into the heart of another was always a trick. It was never about them. At the end of our last chapter, I told you that this journey into the heart of another was a trick, that it was never truly about them. Now here is the final, most crucial truth. The key we have been using to decode the minds of others has all this time also been a mirror. You cannot see a pattern in the world unless that pattern, in some form, also exists within you. The reason you can recognize the armor of the hero or the fear of the orphan so clearly in someone else is because you have your own version of that blueprint within your soul. This entire analysis was an act of misdirection. to allow you to observe these truths without your ego raising its defenses. But now, let's turn the mirror toward you. That hero we spoke of, that is the part of you that works too late, desperate to prove your worth. The caregiver, that is the exhaustion you feel from giving to everyone but yourself, terrified they might leave if you stop. The ruler is the spike of anxiety you feel when plans change without your consent. The orphan is the quiet voice that tells you to just agree, to blend in, to do anything to avoid the cold sting of rejection. They are all in you. They are all part of your inner council, your personal cast of actors. So, for the final and most important step of this journey, I invite you to be courageous for just a moment. Look honestly into this mirror and ask yourself 2 questions. First, which of these 7 archetypes is the lead actor on your stage right now, speaking the loudest lines in your life? And second, the more difficult question, what core wound, what childhood ghost is its performance desperately trying to protect? This is the heart of self-awareness. Your answer is a gift to yourself. If you feel called to, sharing that insight in the comments below can be a powerful act of owning your story. This conversation, this work, does not end here. Understanding these patterns is the first step on a lifelong path of integration and growth. If you are ready to continue walking this path, to explore the deeper currents of the human psyche together, then subscribe and join our community. The journey inward